Welcome to the Department of Mass Communication, Kalgotia's University. I'm Dr. Nikki Tiwari, your course coordinator of Media Industry and Entrepreneurship, BAJC 3002. Today I'm going to discuss about the multi-system operators. Prerequisite of this course is Basics of Print Media and Basics of New Media. Core requisites of this course is Computer with Internet Connection. Learning objectives. On completion of this topic, the students will be able to explain the various types of system operators being used in India and the distribution of TV programs. Now I am going to discuss about the origin of the multi-system operators. Cable television came into existence in India in 1983 when Doordarshan started its services on cable networks in rural areas of Rajasthan. During 1990s, the cable and satellite TV broadcast business was largely driven by small cable TV operators, each catering to the needs of local subscribers in a small area ranging from approximately 50 to 1,000 consumers. A phenomenal increase in number of TV channels from year 2000 to until 2010 resulted in operational constraints for LCOs. During this period, multi-system operators came into existence. MSOs established headends in metros and major towns to receive TV signals from different TV broadcasters, aggregate and distribute these signals to LCOs, who further transmit it to subscribers through cables. In some instances, MSOs also provide the services directly to their consumers. Growth of the multi-system operators. The evolution of technology paved the way for bringing digitization in the cable TV sector. With the introduction of digital addressable system, government amended the Cable Television Networks Rules 1994 by issuing Cable Television Networks Amendment Rules 2012 on 28th April 2012, according to which an multi-system operator operating in digital addressable system areas is required to take necessary permission from Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in addition to registration as a cable operator. The migration from analog cable television distribution system began in 2012 and got completed in March 2017. In line with the progress of digitization, the number of registered multi-system operators steadily increased from 2012 to 2017. The number of operational multi-system operators out of the total registrations has also increased during this period. According to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting revised data dated 21st January 2019, there were 1,471 registered multi-system operators, out of which 1,143 were operational. Now I am going to discuss about the multi-system operators. The multi-system operator is an important link in the television distribution chain. At present, the multi-system operators, after receiving the registration from Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, are required to report to the Ministry about the start of their operation along with the capacity of their network or headend. The operation of the cable TV networks is governed by the Cable Television Regulation Act 1995 and the Cable TV Rules as amended from time to time. As per Cable Television Network Rules 1994, an applicant seeking license for operating as a multi-system operator can be an individual, an association of individuals or body of individuals, whether incorporated or not, or a company. License fee of multi-system operators. As per the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting guidelines, there is a requirement of minimum net worth for broadcasters and headend in the sky operators. In case of direct-to-home DTH operators, though the guidelines do not specify a minimum net worth, there is an entry fee that every DTH service provider is required to pay. These requirements are incorporated in the relevant licensing guidelines issued by Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. For multi-system operators, the guidelines do not specify any minimum value of the net worth. An MSO applicant is only required to declare its net worth. As per the MIB guidelines, an application fee of Rs 1 lakh only is prescribed as registration fee for multi-system operators. Initially, the multi-system operator registration was issued for a specific city or town or a state or on a pan-India basis as per the request of the applicant. However, while their circular dated 27 January 2017, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting conveyed that all the multi-system operators with a valid registration are free to operate in any part of the country. Importance of multi-system operators. Given the diversity of the country, where vernacular language changes in every 25 to 50 kilometers, the local multi-system operators can provide a platform where local content is distributed on the local platform channels. One might consider that India has more than 1,000 operational multi-system operators, which is quite larger a number. Yet given the size of the country, there is ample scope for further development and expansion of the sector. From the point of plurality and diversity of content, the regional multi-system operators are necessary in the cable TV sector, as they can better provide the program diversity to cater to the regional or local tastes. A multi-system operator has to make substantial investment for setting up the headends and other components of the network. Further, additional investment is necessary for expansion of the network. The equipment also requires continuous technology upgradation. In addition, as a business entity, a multi-system operator faces competition from other service providers, thereby necessitating expenditure on marketing, sales, and value-added services. Now I am going to discuss about the television content distribution model. What are television distribution models? Over the years, television distribution models have changed. TV distribution itself can come in many different shapes and sizes, but there are three main types of delivery models. Satellite, that is direct to home. Next, terrestrial networks, that is through cable, IP and DTT distribution. And next, OTT, over the top platform. Now I am going to discuss about the satellite direct to home. This is one of the more direct modes of distribution when we refer to satellite TV. Satellite direct to home achieves video delivery via radio waves received through a satellite dish, usually placed on top of your house. Satellite direct to home enables broadcasters to directly beam their channels to the viewer's TV set. This means that viewers have no need for a separate cable connection to access the television channels. Terrestrial networks. Terrestrial networks receive channels at the network headend and redistribute the television signal to subscribers. The channels are often sent to the network headend via satellite. This is known as headend feeding. Three of the main types of terrestrial networks: cable, a term used to describe the video delivery via coaxial cable connection; IP, a term used to describe video delivery over the internet via a privately managed network; and third, digital terrestrial, video delivery via radio waves received via a digital set-top box, TV gateway, or an integrated tuner included with a television set. Over-the-top (OTT) platform. OTT is a term used to describe video delivery over the public internet. Essentially, this is provided via a high-speed internet connection rather than a cable or satellite provider. For example, Netflix, Amazon, iTunes, and HBO Now. OTT content can be accessed directly on a computer, but it is often watched on a web-enabled television or through an internet-enabled device. Here you can see a visual diagram of the television distribution model. These are the references from where the contents have been taken. Thank you.